main area of my research is access to capital. So when we talk about access to capital, access to finance for small businesses and low-income entrepreneurs in the New Brunswick area. My faculty advisor was Professor David Finegold. We had a relatively good working relationship, and we would talk about, my progress. Over time we built the framework and the structure and how I was going to do it. We did a lot of planning. There's a lot going on in Mexico with microcredit, and that was initially what I was interested in. Then I found out that it had come over to the United States as well. It's not just occurring in some countries, it's actually occurring in approximately more than 50 countries across the world. So the financial crisis and the replication of this microlending model here in the United States prompted me to look at it here. Is it working here? And given the current conditions that are rapidly changing right now with the credit crunch, how is that playing out? How is that affecting these organisations and these people trying to borrow money so they can actually start businesses? When you go to the bank, they'll ask you for some collateral. So they might ask you for your house or your car or something like that. But you look at someone who's low income, they don't really have those kinds of assets to put up as collateral. So these organisations that operate these lending models, instead of using these traditional types of collateral, they capitalise on peer lending. So what they use is social collateral, and that's the trust, the responsibility and the relationships that are developed between groups of people in a particular community. They use that trust and lend money to the lenders from there. You'll build a group, you'll get to know one another. It might involve you going to someone else's house, getting to know their family, all those kinds of things that you would do that would enable you to build trust. And some shared accountability and responsibility, because they kind of see that, if you're in a group of people and you kind of rely on one another, then you're less likely to run off with the money or not pay or default on the loan. New Brunswick is, in my opinion, a very special area. It's a great place to do the research that I was doing because, there's a really diverse population. There's also an undocumented and documented population here, so there's two big groups, particularly the undocumented population. They were of interest in this research, wanted to understand how more difficult or easy it is for those who are undocumented to get access to the same kinds of finance that documented individuals have access to. The Intercept Fund is a student-run organisation. They started in 2007, 2 students. They looked at New Brunswick and they saw a lot of people who have entrepreneurial spirits but really didn't have the education or the access to the finance that they needed to start these small business ventures. So they came up with this organisation, the Intercept Fund, where they offer the business training and the small business loans. What they're effectively doing is they're using the resources of undergraduates, students here at the university, to provide these services. So unlike most microcredit organisations, instead of using hired or paid labour, they're using students to come and teach the business training courses. I have been able to come up with some preliminary results. There was definitely a stark contrast between the residents who lived in New Brunswick and residents from another town in New Jersey. Those in New Brunswick weren't really too happy with the community here. They didn't really feel like that it was a close community. In order for the peer lending model to work, you need to have a strong community. You need to have a strong community, basically, or you need to have the ability to thread those weaves of a community.